Own Abbas Hussain here for Boxing Social, here with Manchester's finest, Pat Barrett. Pats, it was great seeing you a week and a bit ago. How's life been since that win over Anthony Yarde?
You know what? It's been good. It's been good. I've enjoyed it. I mean, not more for me, more for Lyndon. I'm overwhelmed. It couldn't have happened to a better kid. I mean, and the fact that I've kept by everything that I've said, building him up, promoting him myself, guiding him, managing him, training him. It's been the greatest thing ever to do all that myself.
Pat, before we talk about Lyndon, I want to talk about last night. Anthony Joshua versus Kubrat Pulev. Anytime Joshua fights, you know, the country gets behind him. What did you make of Joshua's performance against Pulev?
Do you know what? I thought he did well. I think you know, he's slow. He was a bit slow started. Once he started getting behind that jab, and you know, he started. You could see it was there. But I did say it would go 6 rounds. This.
Okay. Did you feel like? Obviously, we know that he has that killer instinct. Joshua does. He has that power to back it up. But did you feel like after maybe the first 3 rounds, he stopped using the jab as much as he should have?
I think the jab would have been the key for him really to find that right hand. I think sometimes with big punches to look for the big punches, but you know, Joshua is kind of an intelligent fighter. You know, he does his thing. You know, I'm not very critical on fighters to follow boxing to make a judgment on any of the fighters. So I mean, I know the fight game myself. I've been in there, so it's not nice to hear everybody to say anything about you. You know what I mean? You're in there to do a job, and you do that job, and that's all that matters.
But we saw one thing we did see from Joshua was his power. We know Joshua's got a great combination work, and you know he has the power to back it up. Well, what do you make about Joshua's strength that he has in the ring? We know he's a big guy. He's you know, big shoulders. He's got the physique of a heavyweight, a modern heavyweight. But the power that he has is unreal. But what do you make of his power?
I mean, yeah, I mean, his record says it all, really, doesn't it? You know what I mean? He has got good punching power. Even when he put Ruiz down, anybody can hit. It can, but then say it can do damage. But saying that, that's the heavyweight division, isn't it? As an heavyweight, it just takes 1 point to turn the fight around.
You know what? Kubrat Pulev, I want to talk about Pulev as well. You know, after the 3rd round, I think it was when Joshua knocked him down a couple of times. He sort of lasted up till the 9th round, and I don't know if that's experience. What do you put that down to? Is it experience? Is it just sort of getting within range? What did you put that down to for Pulev to survive them rounds?
I just put it down to Joshua not really rushing in and taking his time, you know, to put the finishing on. Because once you know you can hurt a fighter in the ring, then there's no reason to be reckless and go in there. Then you know it's there within yourself. You always know it's going to be there. And you take your time to break a fighter down and deal with it in all right aspects. And I think that's what Joshua did. It was a lot more professional about it. What was the rush? There was no urgency to go out there to try and show what he can knock him out. I knew it was going to come, and I think he knew he was going to do it.
The fight that everyone wants to see, and straight away, Sky Sports, when they were interviewing Joshua, they pulled out the name of Tyson Fury. In your eyes, Pat, from what you saw yesterday, how do you see that fight going between both men?
You know what? I think because I know Fury and I've worked with Fury when he was at a very young age, Fury's the kind of fighter that does deliver what he says. It's not your myth fight. It kind of reminds me of Ali, where so many of his predictions was spot on. That people thought that Ali's fights was fixed. Same with Prince Nazim. Majority of Prince Nazim's fights was based on predictions, which was right, because it's a mind thing. What you have in your head, what you set on, say 6 months from now, and I say this is what's going to happen, and I tell myself that, I convince myself that it can, and I believe. Tyson said that he would be heavyweight champion of the world again when he was like 27 stone. And everybody thought, you laughed at him, thought he was a fool. No way could this man come back and do that. But then he shocked the world. There he is again. He did it. When Tyson Fury was fighting Deontay Wilder, he told everybody what he would do to Deontay Wilder. The only person that believed him was his dad. Here he is now. And now it's all, you know, people talking, I believe what Tyson said he's going to do. I remember when I was away with him one time and was in Germany sparring, and Tyson wasn't really taking it serious. And I had my trainer with, but it wasn't so well, Brian Hughes, and he come because he said, "Pratt, this kid's going to be heavyweight champion of the world. I'm telling you this. Mark my word today." Is what Brian Hughes said, and this was on when he was 18 years old. Anyway, we was in Germany. He was sparring, and so I said to Tyson, "Listen, Tyson, I shared like a dorm with him." I said, "Tyson, you can't do that." I said, "Brian Hughes is not well. He's over there because he believes in you. Show what you can do." Just as I was about to go to sleep, there he had, "Pat." I said, "What, Tyson?" He goes, "You watch tomorrow. I'll show you." I said, "Okay, Tyson, good night." Right. The next day, went in that fucking gym. I'm telling you this now. He gave, I can't remember the name of the heavyweight, I think like it was Sweet Thunder, but he gave him the hiding. Yeah. And he boxed like a dream with everybody. And when we come back to England, okay, I did one fight corner for Tyson for nothing. Yeah, I said, "If you like me, I like you, let's work together." We worked together, he won. But when we come back to England, he says, "We got a letter," or he got a letter. They didn't want him to go back to that training camp again. The bad. So the moral of the story, what I'm trying to say is, what Tyson says, he does. Yeah. There's a lot of fighters that talk a lot of gibberish, but he honestly believes what he says he's going to do. And that's why I admire. And I'm only saying that nothing about Joshua. I don't know Joshua. I'm talking about what I know of a fighter. Yeah, his dad bought him to me a very long time ago, and I had training, and I did do. Yeah, and he was absolutely remarkable. Yeah, and due to circumstances that he didn't leave me because I was a bad trainer. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I went to jail. Yeah, a situation happened. I ended up going to jail, and that was it. But from that sentence on there, I just said, never again. Yeah, because I would have had the heavyweight champion of the world. Yeah, and when he came to visit me, I said to him, "Tyson, you're gonna have to get yourself another trainer because I don't know what this situation. I would like you to wait." And then his Uncle Peter was training him from there on. Then, yeah. But the question is, I mean, I think Tyson does deliver 100%.
Interesting. I never knew that about yourself and Tyson. Do you guys keep in touch now, or is it not much?
Listen, he sends me the odd messages on the Insta. Congratulations, and yeah, we know we've both got the most amount of respect for each other, and his dad as well. I'm very good friend with John. Yeah, same with John as well. So it was his dad that brought Tyson to us. He brought Tommy to us. So yeah, his dad's a proper boxing man.
It's an interesting story with Tyson and Joshua. Joshua was this kid who was doing wrong things on the streets. He admits to it. The reason why he went into boxing was because he had to stop doing the things that he was doing on the streets, and probably get himself out of trouble. He was involved with the police and stuff. So he used that leverage to get himself into the gym, went to the Olympics from there on, became world champion. Tyson comes from a fighting background, been through a lot of mental health issues in the last couple of years, bounced back and become this phenom that he is. He was always a great fighter, but now he's cementing himself between the 1 and 2 of the division. It's just a great story all around for boxing, isn't it, Pat? When they both face each other.
You know what it is, but like I said, Anthony Joshua, I read what you said about that, and he's a great. There's nothing I can say. This is what I'm saying. I don't like where I'm talking about any fighters, because coming from the fight game itself, I don't want to come across as negative towards any fighter. But when we're talking about just opinions on what I know of a fighter, I'm just talking about purely of what I know of Tyson. Yeah, I know him. Yeah, I know him since he used to go running with Zelfa. He used to come and knock on the door and get Zelfa, and he used to go running together when I lived over near Salford. And that's what they used to do. When he was 18, he was the biggest 18-year-old I've ever known. Do you know what I mean? And I think everybody overlooked that because he was only a kid, but he was getting treated too much like he was well a mature man. Do you know what I mean? And he was an absolutely great person, lovely person, beautiful. His dad's great. He's come from a good family.
Fair enough. That's a good story, actually. Let's talk about your fighter, Lyndon Arthur. We know what he did last weekend against Anthony Yarde. Now you guys have sat back, reflected on it, looked at the fight. There was talks of robbery at the time. Certain people are saying it's a robbery or it's not a fair decision. Now you look back at it, Pat. Give me your sort of verdict.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
What would you say on the fight yourself? Because with this talk about being robbed, bear in mind, we didn't give the decision, okay? Right? Now, everyone's entitled to have an opinion, and it's good to hear it from you asking me. But let me ask you, what do you think? Do you think it was a close fight?
I thought it was a close fight, to be honest, yeah. I thought it was close. But, yeah, definitely a close fight.
And do you think Lyndon Arthur deserved the decision?
I think about, yeah. Yeah, sure.
I don't mean it like that. I mean, look, if Lyndon wouldn't have got the decision, you know what I would have done?
Yeah.
I would have put my arm around him and I would have said, you know what, son? Let's go back to the drawing board. Yeah, God's got you through this safe and sound. Yeah, you're unarmed, you're unmarked, so you're unmarked. Let's go back. Everything's good. I wouldn't have been saying, oh, we got robbed and Anthony has this and Tunde's that and rare. I would have accepted it and moved on. Not because I don't think okay, here's another example. Zelfa, when he got beat up Ronnie Clark. Yeah, it was heartbreaking. But I know what it's like to lose one fight. But that one fight, losing that one fight because I've experienced it, can also make you a 10 times better fighter. Because it was 5 years later, I was undefeated. It wasn't until I moved up to welterweight to fight Manny Galloway for the world title. Yeah, I got beat. But I never lost as a light welterweight. Okay, I was undefeated as a light welterweight. Okay, so what I'm trying to say, sometimes the loss can make you a better fighter. Yeah, depending on how you get beat. Now, that loss to me would have made Lyndon know a lot about himself if he did get beat. Yeah, but because he won it with only one hand, it's also made him know 50 million times better about himself. Yeah, and trust and believe and everything else. Because he's not had the right marketing, Lyndon, on TV. All the fights that he's had, all these greatest fights have come on my shows. Yeah. No one doesn't know nothing about Lyndon Arthur. Okay? He's unheard of. Yeah. This Anthony Yarde, everyone thinks because he's been knocking. The kids that he fought, Lyndon would have knocked him out. Just like he would have knocked out the kids, Lyndon would have fought. It don't make no difference. But what do you learn from knocking people out? When I got Lyndon ready for every fight and every opponent that I put him in the ring with, okay, I got him ready for it as if he was fighting for the world title. We worked on techniques, we worked on styles, we worked on platforms, we worked on this kid's gonna come, this is what I want you to do, I want you to work up the jab, throw the left hook to the body, this is what. So we worked on fight plans for every one of 18 fights that he's had. We've always had a game plan for all of them, even from day one, even as an amateur. Yeah. I said, you've got a style that no matter what, people are going to come and try and disarm you. And you have to be prepared for that. Don't let them take that jab away. And if they take that jab away, plan B is you can fight inside. Because I have them close to close, one-to-one, standing, working on inside shots, working on, because people think, oh, we can just box. He can't, he can fight. Yeah. There's two sides to Lyndon that you don't know, and hopefully you never have to see it. That's the plan B. I never put a fight in a ring with one dimension, with just a plan A. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. They know everything. Zelfa, fight plans from being an amateur. Watch them. Because they've all developed that pro style, even not just with them two. All the fighters that I'm bringing through, we've all got similarities. They know how to feint. They know how to open fighters up. They know how to read a fighter. They know how to keep the distance. They know how to judge. The eye contact is focusing is very important. Got to be like a cat. Got to be switched on. Do never switch off in the ring. You switch off, you get knocked out. So I make them aware. And certain things like that, they don't teach that in the gym. They expect fighters to have that. That's what I teach.
You know what, then, going off what you're saying, do you feel like now's the time that BT Sport and Frank Warren need to get behind Lyndon Arthur? We know what he did. He's got the result, which a lot of people have deemed as an upset because they expected Anthony Yarde to win the fight. But now you feel like this is the stage where BT Sport and Frank Warren have to push Lyndon Arthur forward and sort of give him the time that he deserves.
Come on, most definitely. I mean, there's one thing you've got to say in life, Lyndon's earned, and that's respect. Yeah. And if he's not earned it, it done damn well to go in there and take it. Yeah. Anthony Yarde is a dangerous fighter. Come on, I know that. Yeah. I'm not saying he's no pushover, and I'm not saying that you can't do that. I've not got a bad thing. If anything, I've got great things to say about Anthony Yarde because I'm glad that we've beaten such a great fighter. Because if it would have been some kind of rubbish fighter, then it would have been like, oh yeah, well, people expect you to say that. But what the big thing is, to me, Lyndon's had his world title. Yeah, because it was a big show, it was a big thing. But it was, unfortunately, all the bigness wasn't about us. It was about Anthony Yarde. As you know, we come there, it was Anthony Yarde versus Lyndon Arthur. It wasn't Lyndon Arthur versus Anthony Yarde. And we're the champions. Everything was back to front. Even up to the point, yeah, that we was meant to come out first. Like, are you stupid? We're the champions. And you want to do us like this? No. That's one thing you're not going to do is give us that kind of respect to treat us like champions. Even the ring walk music, all the bollocks, yeah. You know, it plays with the fighters. Then it's just all a joke, yeah. But again, we're bigger than that. We come from nothing, yeah. Lyndon doesn't know what it's like to have anything, yeah. You know, it's probably the most he's made in a fight is what 50 grand, whatever. Nothing, yeah, nothing. We're not mad, we're not beggars, yeah. We earners, okay. Now, if Anthony Yarde would have beat Lyndon, and Lyndon's the champion, do you honestly think Anthony Yarde would have given Lyndon a rematch? No, because he's going to go on to do bigger, better things, right? But bear this in mind, we are the champions, okay? We're the champions. They are the challengers. They don't have nothing, okay? As much as we needed the fight, they needed the fight. They needed to be a creditable opponent to get back up there, yeah? And unfortunately, it didn't do it. Now, we never said, oh, what Tunde was saying. I mean, Tunde is so rude and disrespectful, the way he's talking about Lyndon, yeah? Discrediting him. And it's trainers like that in the game that make the fighters be the way they are. It's like parenting. I teach my fighters how to have respect, yeah? How to respect their opponent. Like what we did, we respected Yarde, yeah? And we still do. And going into this fight, you know what Lyndon said? He had fear. Sometimes fear can be your best friend or your worst enemy. Lyndon going into this fight, you know what he said to his baby mum? Don't let my son watch the fight. Why did he say that? Because there's a possibility he could have got knocked out. Anything could have happened. And he's aware of that in the back of his mind. Yeah, at least he's aware of it. We take that into account. But we do so much good work on defense and distancing that if we got knocked out, it would have to be an off-road. Babe, what can we say? The most that can happen, we get beat on points. What can we say? We accept it. We go back. Uncle Pat starts, puts a show on, gets these kids out, dust them out, polish them up, boom, let's go back in the driving seat. Same as we did with Zelfa Barrett. Okay, my nephew, right? So all this talk of being robbed, it's atrocious, mate. It's disgusting. Yeah. If he thought that he got robbed, then he shouldn't allow himself to get robbed, because they were talking about they were going to knock us out, and they never deliver. They were talking about their entertainers. They come and deliver to do this, right? We fought our fight. We stuck to our game plan. We executed a great game plan, and we got the decision. That's all I can say.
Pat, what's the conditions of this rematch clause? Does it have to be immediate? When does this rematch have to take place? Because to be honest, I was surprised that there was a rematch clause in place. But when I heard there was, what's the conditions of it? Does it have to be straight away? Does it have to be the next fight?
The rematch. Let me tell you the rematch clause. This rematch clause is what I call, it's like a bully tactic. Yeah, right. It's like you don't take this, you don't have this. Yeah, right. Now, as far as I'm concerned, the rematch clause, it doesn't mean nothing to me. Yeah, There will be a rematch, but not when they say, and not when anybody says. Yeah, I'm saying, yeah, there can be a rematch, but if you're going to do it properly. He's been beaten twice at the Yard. No, it's a fight nobody wants to see again, okay? Because it wasn't an exciting fight, okay? It wasn't, right? It was a fight where it was like, okay, my fighter won that, and I'm glad. That's it, okay? And I'm glad he won it. Anthony Yarde didn't do anything remarkable to me. He says, oh, power shots, and that I landed this. When you count, yeah, as far as power shots, he landed a right hand. Lyndon landed an uppercut. Lyndon landed a couple of right hands, yeah. But then when you're talking jabs, Lyndon averaged and landed more jabs. The first 5 rounds, he was jabbing his head off. And Anthony Yarde wasn't doing anything. You know what I'm saying? He was made to do what he had to do, Anthony Yarde. He had to throw punches. He had to. What was he going to do? Stand off outside and get picked off? He had to do something. It's common sense. You're the puncher. Go and do it. Do you understand me? And he didn't deliver. So in your fight plan, you lost it the way. If we say, for instance, now Lyndon sat back and he jabbed. He only had one hand. Okay, right. What I hate about the whole lot, right? This is how bad it was. When Lyndon damaged his right hand, somebody went to Anthony Yarde's corner to tell him, listen, Lyndon can't use his right hand, right? Because Lyndon said it in the corner. Plus, in the dressing room before, if you watch before the pre-fight, you know, when they have the cameras in the dressing rooms and you can see it, can't you, on TV? Yeah. Lyndon then threw the uppercut and said something, and I whispered in Lyndon's ear, yeah, right? Said, listen, don't say that. This camera's not me. Yeah. Forget about that. But then we just carried on working as normal, warming up. But even if it wasn't actually physical, it was mental now that he didn't want to throw this right hand. Because the last thing you want to do is mistime it. Yeah. The last thing you want to do is whinge in a fight. So, as far as I was concerned about the right hand, yeah, I said to Lyndon at one point in the fight, Lyndon, I need you to throw that right hand, son. You've got to throw it. Yeah. Because, you know, sometimes you're not pushing that jab out, you're getting lazy with the jab. Yeah. You need something to think about. I need you to throw that right hand, son. Yeah. Right. You need you to throw it. And funny enough, it happened to be the same round that Tunde Ajayi said to Anthony, don't quote me on this, he said, but I think he's not throwing his right hand. There's something wrong with his right hand. He's not throwing. Now, the only reason why he's saying don't quote me because he's heard it from somebody else. Okay? Right? He wasn't that intelligent to pick up on that to say he's done his right hand in. Do you know what I mean? So, as soon as he said that, what did Lyndon do? He threw the right hand and it caught him flush. And straight away, that bought him another 2-3 rounds because now Anthony was wary of that right hand. Because instead of doing something, he come out straight away trying to put it on Lyndon, and it was just perfect timing that Lyndon threw it.
So if this rematch doesn't happen, what for now, we know that at some point it will happen. What do you want Lyndon to do next, Pat?
I think he should rightfully just get what he deserves. Showcase him a lot more. Yeah. You know, market him a lot more. Show him that, he's still a Queensberry fighter. And, give him the credibility now. I can get him ready to have certain fights and let's let him look good on TV. Let's build him to be the fighter. If they want to build this fight. Anthony Yarde needs to rebuild his career. There's a lot that's going on in Anthony Yarde's mind. Even in that fight, you could see it. He wasn't confident. His whole height, yeah, and it's his trainer that's making him feel like that. Boxers don't confess how they feel because they're too macho. Yeah, boxers won't say no to anything. You could see it. The first jab that Lyndon hit him with early on in the first round, just before the bell went, it was a perfect jab, and I could see it, and it started reddening his nose, and in his eyes, he wasn't feeling it. His mind wasn't there. It was like, it was a reminder of the Colorado fight. Yeah, it was melting him. And that's what it was. And Anthony Yarde, Tunde Ajayi did not do no favors by, now come on, son. Now listen now, son. They talk about the relationship. My relationship was, now come on now, Lyndon. Listen, I need you to do this. Because I've been in Lyndon's head for weeks. Yeah, I'm in his head. So basically, when I'm talking to him, we're working together. I'm controlling him. I'm in his head. I'm not being negative. I'm in his head now. Come on now, son. Yeah, don't bear this in mind. This is a kid that I've had before he was born. Yeah, in my life. I remember when his mum was having him. Okay, right? This is family. So the last thing I want to do is see my family get hurt. So I'm going to instruct them correctly. And the whole of my boxers are family. Yeah, that's how I treat them all. Therefore, they don't get treated any different and any better. They're all equals. You understand me? And what he was, go on.
Just going off what you're saying, then you're saying that Anthony needs to rebuild. He's actually put a tweet out or an Instagram post saying that it's time to make some changes. If that is to be boxing related, because we don't know, that could actually mean in regards to some sort of life changes. We don't know what he's implying, but if it was to be boxing related, what would you change, Pat, from his side?
No, I think, you know, look, it's not for me to build him up. Yeah, I'm more talking about my fighter. Yeah, it's not for me to build him up. Yeah, I'm just saying, yeah, this kid is a marketable fighter. This kid is a good kid. This kid is a good prospect. Okay, that's all I'm saying about him. I'm saying, you know, he should have been built up. It's like, for instance, Zelfa, when he got beat up on the Clark, okay, they put him in with Leon Woodstock, right, because they both lost. I knew what was going on there. But like, fuck, I was going to do that. I'm saying, you know what, son, you're getting a fight on my show. And it's not about the money now. You need to be back here now. You come back down, and this is where you're going to start back again. You rebuild back here with me. This is why I always put these shows up, because when you come back down, you don't fall down to the bottom and stay on the shelf. You fall back down and you're ready to go straight back up. Yeah. And that's what we did. We sharpened them up. Next thing you know, we got the call for Woodstock. Yeah, take the fight. I said, now listen, Zelfa, this is your key now, son. Go out there and do the right job, because if you do this, you will come back better. And Zelfa, okay. He had to come back better. And every day I'm talking to him in his head. Every day I'm telling him, listen, your life's going to change. You beat Woodstock. This is it now, mate. I'm telling you now, your life will change. And I'm telling him, and he's starting to believe it. And the more he's believing it, the more he's seeing it, the more he's engaging in it. Right? Now, that's what they should have done with Anthony. When he lost, look, putting him in with Spellman was a fucking stupid point to prove, because what Lyndon done and what he can do, and that was a stupid comparison. Dumb. Yeah. They didn't need to compare. Go out there and get a decent victory. Yeah, be you, knock people out. Don't try to knock people out, because even in the Spellman fight, I've seen everything different. I've seen a different Anthony Yarde. I'm like, wow, if that was Anthony Yarde fighting before he got beat, I would have put £500 that he'd knocked Spellman out in 2 rounds. Even not a round, because he is what he is. He's a great finisher, yeah, and he's a fearsome puncher, yeah. But when I seen that Spellman fight, Lyndon phoned me that night and said, Pat, get that fight. At 12 o'clock at night, I'm watching it, and after the fight, Lyndon phoned me and said, Pat, make that fight. Make sure it's happening for me. I want it. That's what he said, yeah. And I get on to Queensbury the next time and said, listen, we want that fight. Make it happen. And he goes, right, consider it done. So Lyndon obviously seen what I seen in that fight. Yeah. And what I'm trying to say to you, he needed slowly but surely. Bear this in mind, yeah, when you had a fighter that's at 20 odd fight that 90 and he's with a left jab. And he wasn't knocked out with a left jab. He was knocked out with lack of experience. He was told to empty the tank. I would never tell a fighter to empty the tank when you still got 4 rounds to go. Fuck that. Are you crazy? Where's the common sense in that? Do you understand me? Unless you know that that guy is ready to go. Yeah. I'm not telling no fighter to empty the tank. I'm telling him to slowly break him down. Keep chopping into the body. This is an old man. He can't take it. Yeah. Never mind go out there and empty the tank. And he nearly did it. Because Kolorov's corner was saying, listen, if you don't blah, 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 we're going to pull you out. That's what they said. They nearly pulled him out the fight, and they nearly got it. Nearly is not good enough, though, is it?
Pat, it's always great chatting to you. No doubt, 2021, I'll come down to see you guys in the gym, and get some interviews done with you guys face to face. It's a bit weird doing interviews on Zoom when I was spending a lot of time with you guys last week. But yeah, any plans for Christmas? What's the plans for Christmas then? What have you got planned?
You know what? I don't really do Christmas, to be quite honest with you. I love Zelfering over Christmas because he's fighting in February.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, fair enough. Okay, cool. That's fine.
So, you know,
That's cool. Definitely, yeah. Like I said, next year at some point, hopefully in January and stuff, I'll give you a shout. Come down to the gym and see all the boys
no
there.
problem. Thank you.
Pat, you're a star. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Have a good time. Have a good evening, mate.
No problem. You too, mate. Take care. See you later.